Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. And since Mother's Day is quickly approaching, I thought we would take a look at some mothers who are truly evil. They're victims who are often their children, and some of them other family members as well, put their victims through severe torture and medical abuse and just made their lives absolutely terrible before their untimely deaths. And if you like true crime, don't forget to hit that subscription button down below so you can be alerted every single time I post a new case. On October 25th, 1994, a woman named Susan Smith reported to the Union Police Department in Union, North Carolina, that an African-American man had stolen her vehicle at a stoplight with her 2 sons inside. The police immediately began to search the area for her sons, named Michael Daniel Smith, who was 3, and Alexander Tyler Smith, who was 14 months. Police were wary about Susan's story because the stoplight she claimed she was ambushed at was activated by cars coming from the opposite direction because it was not a busy street where the streetlights were timed. She claimed that there were no other cars at the light when she was stopped, so there would be no reason for the light to be red. This case received nationwide coverage and searches all over the country to find the boys. Susan's husband David was right along her side in press interviews, begging for the man to return their sons. 9 days after the boys disappeared on November 3rd, Susan confessed to her letting her 1990 Mazda Protege roll into the John D. Long Lake with her children's seat buckled in the car. Susan told police the only way she could carry on the affair she was having with a local man in town was to get rid of her children because he did not want a pre-made family. The lake was searched and the car was found pretty far out at about 60 feet because of the speed she was driving before she let the car sink. Susan was then arrested and her defense psychiatrist diagnosed her with dependent personality disorder. Her father committed suicide when she was about 6 years old, and she always had a rough home life after that. In her trial, it was disclosed that she was molested by her stepfather and she attempted suicide 2 separate times. Susan was given a minimum of 30 years in prison, and she is eligible for parole in 2024. She has had an interesting time in prison though, and she has had sexual relationships with multiple guards, and she placed an ad on a website called writeaprisoner.com where she casually tells the reader she is a murderer while also claiming to be a Christian and a fun-loving woman. In April 2019, the Jay Police Department in Jay, Oklahoma received a report of malnourished children in town. What police found was horrifying. The home was in complete squalor, and the 2 children were extremely malnourished. The children were rushed to the hospital right away, and it would be found that the 5-year-old was only 26 pounds and the 3-year-old was only 18 pounds. The children had pinworms in their stool, and the older child told police that they were being fed dog feces. The children had to be placed on feeding tubes and are now in state custody and on the road to recovery from the mental and physical abuse the mother put them through, including hitting and leaving the children alone for long periods of time with no supervision and no food in the house. Mary ended up only receiving 2 felony counts of child neglect. Machelle Hobson was known for her popular YouTube channel called Fantastic Adventures, where she features her 7 adopted and homeschooled children into performing sketches. The channel was very popular prior to March 2019, and it had over 700,000 subscribers and over 240 million views. Local police received reports that Machelle was abusive to the children physically and mentally, and they were shocked when they found out how Machelle was treating these children. The children ages ranged from 6 to 15 and were all malnourished. One of the children she forced to wear only a pull-up diaper because they were too weak to perform in one of her videos. She would also force the children to take ice baths, and she would beat them with objects such as hangers or belts. Machelle would even pepper spray them from head to toe. The children were all removed from her home, and she entered a plea bargain for 24 counts of child abuse instead of the many other charges she would have faced. On November 12, 2017, Stephany LaFountain called the Fort Wainwright military base in Fairbanks, Alaska, to report that her infant daughter had stopped breathing. Doctors did everything they could for the baby, but she ended up passing away shortly after in the hospital. The autopsy determined she was healthy, but the cause of death was due to the lack of oxygen. Investigators began to look at Stephany for her daughter's death and found that in 2015, she had a 4-month-old daughter who passed the same way. When police searched her computer, they found she was searching for how to commit the perfect murder, and can drowning show up in an autopsy report, as well as several other incriminating searches. Stephany was arrested and charged with the murder for both her children in the first and second degree. In June 2014, a man named Nick Goodjohn stabbed a woman named Deedee Blanchard in her home because his girlfriend Gypsy Rose, who was Deedee's daughter, asked him to. The couple left the home and made their way back to Nick's home. When neighbors noticed no movement in Deedee's home for a long period of time, they called the police and they found Deedee dead in her home. The police also found a closet stockpiled with medications, way more than one person would need to take. Police tracked down Gypsy Rose and Nick, and they were both taken into questioning. Gypsy told investigators that her mother forced her to pretend that she was sick her entire life and made her believe that she could not even walk. Deedee had a condition called Munchausen by proxy, where she lied and said Gypsy had several medical conditions and coerced doctors into performing multiple procedures and prescribing several medications that Gypsy did not need. At one point, Deedee even had several of Gypsy's teeth removed and would shave Gypsy's hair to make it appear that she had cancer. Deedee also reached out to several disability programs that awarded Gypsy with several trips to Disney and even a brand new home from Habitat for Humanity. When Gypsy was old enough to realize that she could walk and that she felt fine, she began to refuse medications, and her mother became more violent with Gypsy. She began to talk to boys online and stumbled across Nick, with whom she shared how she was physically and mentally abused by her mother, so she asked Nick to kill her mother. Nick is on the autistic spectrum and struggled with his desire to please those around him, so he made the trip and murdered Deedee. Many people feel that Gypsy Rose and Nick should have gotten a light sentence to no jail time, especially for Gypsy because she suffered for a very long time because of her mother's mental and physical abuse. Of course, Deedee is not here to defend herself, but many people were disgusted at her behaviors and believe that she got what she deserved. Even digging further back into Deedee's history, prior to her daughter, she is thought to have possibly killed her mother because she was her caretaker as well, and her mother died under her care. So let me know what you guys think about these cases. I find them all very interesting, and I really would like to do like a deep dive again on Casey Anthony. I know that there's been a lot about that, so if you guys don't want me to, it's okay, but if you would like, leave me a comment. I also would like to do a video about Deedee and Gypsy Rose at one point, because that case is like wild. Like the first time I heard that, it's so crazy, and there's been a lot about that too, but you know, I like to listen to the story from multiple people, so I don't know if you guys do as well, but let me know if you guys want those, and let me know if I missed any evil mothers, and we can talk about them next year. So otherwise, guys, I hope you have a great day, and happy Mother's Day if you celebrate that. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and take care and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.